Hi, I'm Dave Perco, so I'm the Director of Power Servers here at Able One. Give you a little background on myself. I was an IBMer, as a lot of people here were at one time. Used to sell printers when IBM used to sell printers years ago, and then also sold AS400s and RS6000s and was in a leadership role in that vein before I joined Able One 15 years ago. So I continue to help customers find power server solutions in their business today. Let me take you back to downtown Toronto 27 years ago. Some of you may have remembered this, some of you may have been in attendance. It was the Common Conference here in Toronto, and there were thousands of customers here, and there was a huge announcement that day. It was the convergence of the old System 34, System 36 technology and the System 38 technology into what became known as the AS400. And that announcement, I'm going to go through some of the benefits of AS400 that day and how they still relate today to the power servers. But there's a couple of things that happened that day. Huge announcement on applications. It's the one-time largest application announcement in the history of computers. 1,000 applications were announced that day supported on the AS400 from ISV vendors. And by the time the AS400 started shipping, there were actually 2,500 applications available. So you look at that and say, okay, there's ISVs that are investing their time and money into writing applications for this platform. There must be some benefit to it. Now you look at customers. So it was introduced in 1988. By 1992, there were 200,000 AS400 shipped. So in 3.5 years from when it was originally available, already 200,000 systems. 4 years later, another 200,000. By 1997, there were 700,000 systems shipped. So IBM had to be doing something right, that all these ISVs are writing applications to that platform, and all these customers were actually buying it. So there's a picture of the old white boxes going back to 1988. Some of you may remember them. They look a lot sleeker now, black color. But what were the benefits that came out at that time? The core architecture included integration. Novel at that time, but integration of the database, integration of security, of networking, of storage management. So when an AS400 shipped, it was already tested with the operating system and the integrated middleware before it got to your hands. Novel idea then, I'd say it's still a novel idea today, isn't it? You're not integrating all those pieces yourself. It comes ready to go. Comes ready to put your application on and move forward. Use of single level storage for managing your storage. Object-based operating system for integrity and reliability. One of the cornerstones of the AS400 and the power server today is reliability. You all know that. You have the servers. You see how reliable they are. Technology independent machine interface. IBM acronym TIMI, T-I-M-I. What does that mean? When this server was introduced 27 years ago, the operating system and the applications were basically buffered from the hardware. So when you changed your hardware and you went to more current technology, you didn't have to recompile your applications. No other platform did that. You had to recompile or rewrite applications. That stands that applications that ran 27 years ago still run today. That's phenomenal. 27 years in IT is an eternity, right? But a lot of you are here with applications probably 10, 15, 20 years old. That's why we're here today, right? Expectations that multiple workloads would run on the system. Again, novel idea that you don't have to buy a server, spin up an instance, start another environment, load another OS to run a second application on the server. So it was designed to run multiple applications. It was designed for business from day one. So all those attributes still stand today. Here's a look at the power rate scale-up servers, just a low-end entry level, 1 and 2 socket. So you've got your IBM I, your AIX, and your Linux, the supported OSs, and also your Linux-only servers. Just a look at the black, sleek look of the servers today, all rack-mounted. What's different? Well, things have changed. There's a hypervisor, so if you want to, you can virtualize your environment, but you don't have to. You can still run multiple applications on a power server today without isolating or virtualizing or separating environments. If you want to isolate, you want to dedicate resources, you can do that. The choice is yours. You don't have to spin up another instance to run another application. Integration. Integration of web services with the Apache web server and the integrated web server application server running Java 5 and Java 6 applications, current technology. Programming languages. Yeah, sure, there's RPG, COBOL, C++. But what's been included now is Java, and Amy's going to talk about PHP, the most popular web development platform. Support for the multiple operating systems, as I mentioned. and AIX converged a few years ago, running on Power. IBM's invested over $1 billion on Linux on Power, supporting Ubuntu, SUSE, and Red Hat. Lowest total cost of ownership. This has been a hallmark of the system for a number of years. There may be a larger price day one, and that larger price is going smaller and smaller compared to other servers, but still consistently the lowest total cost of ownership is the AS400 or Power server. And performance proven through comparative metrics. I didn't mention performance on the AS400 announcement 27 years ago. There wasn't a lot of comparative metrics. There are today, and I'm going to compare one generation of Power to the previous one. And I'm going to compare Power to Intel. I've got a couple charts here from an actual marketplace survey that was done from Help Systems. This got published a couple of months ago. Outlook for IBM I, return on investment. Do you believe it's a better ROI than any other server you have today? 94% of customers said yes. It's the best ROI of any server you have today. Data warehouse, business intelligence. Is this where you want to do business intelligence? 92% said yes. Is this where you'll host your data warehouse? 85% said yes. Your data's sitting on a relational database today, DB2. Leave it there. Access the data where it is today. Don't pull it off. It doesn't make sense. That's what this is saying. Customers are saying this. Now I'm going to show you the third one from this marketplace survey, and this is a little concerning, and I'm going to focus a little bit on this. Does your company plan to leave the IBM I platform? And on the top right, if you plan to leave, where will you go? And that's always been a struggle, I guess, with the AS400 over the years, now Power Server, is the knowledge of its demise has always been forecasted, but has never happened, has it? In fact, I'd say it's stronger today technology-wise than it's ever been, right? And what we need to do is get the word out, ourselves, yourselves internally in your companies. So if someone plans to leave and go to a Windows-based Intel server, how does that technology compare? I want to just focus on that for a couple of minutes. Let's look at performance of a Power 8 server. You're looking at 40 to 60% performance increase from Power 7 to Power 8. This is your one socket P10 level server and your one or two socket P20 level server. So would you say, by show of hands, you expect a 30 to 40% performance increase with every technology announcement at IBM on Power? Okay, so let's take a look at the last couple generations. Power 5 Plus, 6 Plus, 7 Plus, and 8. Power 5 Plus to Power 6 Plus, 26% performance increase, core to core. Okay, single core to single core. Power 6 Plus to Power 7 Plus, 47%. Power 7 Plus to Power 8, 40%. So last three generations, it's in the range of 30 to 40%. Intel servers. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the generations of Intel technology. There's Sandy Bridge, going to Ivy Bridge, going to Haswell. So something strikes you right away. Intel cannot get more processing capacity per core out of their processors in general than the overhead caused by the multi-cores. That doesn't happen at IBM, does it? Because you're getting 30 to 40% per core processor improvement per generation. So they've actually gone down from Sandy Bridge to Ivy Bridge, gone down to Ivy Bridge EX, and gone down to Haswell. And now they've finally gone up a little bit, 6.8% performance increase. So I look at this and I kind of laugh. Let's take a scenario here. Let's pretend that this is the Power Server performance over the last 5 generations of Power Servers, Power 4 through Power 8. So let's play that out. Let's say I come to see you, or an IBM rep comes to see you. I'm going to talk to you about Power 8. Great news, great news. We actually have better performance per core. 6.8% better than Power 7. Isn't that great news? I'm proud. My chest is out. I'm like, yes, we did it, finally. $2.4 billion investment, we got you 6.8% more performance. But I continue, and I tell you, yeah, and today's Power 8 is now matching what you had in a Power 6 server 6 years ago in per core performance. And we're hoping in the future, with the next release of Power 9, that we're going to get down to the performance you had with Power 5 10 years ago. Isn't that great? And in the future, hopefully, if we can invest another $2.4 billion, sometime in the future, we're going to get back to the performance per core you had 12 to 15 years ago with Power 4. What a story. You're all looking at me in disbelief, right? Shocked. What would the next words be out of your mouth if that actual conversation happened? Negative comment, sarcasm? That's the reality. So customers, yourselves, other companies are looking at application decisions, moving applications off, potentially to Power Server, or deciding new applications. Where do you want to run it? Do you want to run it here, or do you want to run it on Power Server? How does that actually affect you? The fact that Intel can't get multi-core processing costs you and your company money. Why? Okay, so the real growth you have in going to the latest Intel technology, it's so nominal going from processor to processor. They tell you go from 8-core to 16-core. Go from 16-core to 32-core. Add more cores. Doesn't cost them any money, right? Intel, HP, anyone running those servers, they don't pay your software bills, do they? They don't pay your database bills. So they don't care, just add more cores. But what if your application is core-based? You just doubled your software costs. You just doubled your maintenance costs. What if your database is core-based? Oracle, let's say. You just doubled your Oracle database costs because Intel can't get multi-core processing. So do you want to run new applications there? Do you want to move applications there? It's going to cost you money. Here's a comparison of IBM Power Systems with competition. 2 to 1 is really the net of all the comparisons that are out there now in Power 8 versus competitive platforms. Double the performance. Okay, I'll show you another one as well. So Webster Online Banking workload, IBM turns on, SMT 8, doubles the performance. Why do you care? Again, you doubled your costs. Or let me go the other way. Power saves you money. You have half the licenses, half the software costs, half the database costs. Doesn't matter what OS you're running on, these hold true. It's a 2 to 1 performance metric right now. So what are we saying? It's Black Friday or Cyber Monday every day on the Power Server. It's 50% off, right? The only difference is you don't have to order by 11:59 tonight because that deal will be there tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. I mean, this is reality of what the metrics are out there today. Power Server has 4 more threads per core than x86, 4 more times the memory bandwidth, 5 times the cache, and higher clock frequency as well. That's why you get better performance. The design decision results in better performance in what matters. It's the design of the system that matters. Again, this is just taking all those metrics and putting it in a chart. As you can see on the far right, Power 8 has more higher clock rate, more SMTP, more max threads, more cache, L1 through L4, and higher bandwidth. What's the difference? The Power 8's design is for big workloads. It's designed to run business. It's designed to run your business applications. That's what it's designed for 27 years ago. That's still the design today. You don't have to spin up an environment every time you add an application. What I'd like you to do, as I finish talking about power and getting off my soapbox, so to speak, don't be afraid to evangelize within your own companies the benefits of power, okay? When decisions are being made about applications, about where to run things, doesn't matter what OS you're running. We're here talking about IBM i today, I know, and application modernization, but the reality is, it doesn't matter if it's IBM i, if it's AIX, or if it's any version of Linux, the Power 8 server outperforms any server out there. The Power 8 processor chip outperforms any processor out there. If you choose other processors, it will cost you more money. It may not be up front, but you'll realize with applications, with database, with per core costs, it's going to cost you more to run on an inferior product. So at the beginning, I talked about applications. 2,500 applications on the AS400 27 years ago. How many are there today? There's over 5,000 on IBM i today. Sounds like a big number. How many have you written? How many of all the customers written out there? There's at least tens of thousands of applications that are out there that were written years ago. So what do you do about today's reality of business? What do you do about mobile devices, users, accessing all different times of day, different locations, and with different methods. How do you get the application to them? To that end, I'll call Eden up to talk about application modernization.